Hey guys, welcome. This is a general reading for the collective of Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Welcome cross watchers for Virgo, and if you're brand new to the channel, happy to have you join us. I am pulling from, what is it called? Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. And we're going to get a message to kick off the reading. Sloppy shovel. Sorry. Ooh, I hope you are well wherever this finds you. Let's see the message. Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. Beautiful message. Akashic Stargate. So you know Akashic, the Akashic records. Yeah, you might be finding yourself at a crossroads here, for those of you watching, and the good news is there's no wrong path. It's really about an alignment. We're in Mercury retrograde at the moment, and Mercury is retrograding in the sign of Leo. So, aligned with purpose. Yeah, I feel like Leo could be speaking about that. The Leonine energy or Leonian energy can be very purpose-driven, but from creative self-expression, right? So what do we have? And I talked about this in the monthly energy update for the month of July. So if you missed that, not too late to watch it because it covers the whole month. And I talked about, where is the central sun within you? Where is that light within you? What gifts do you know you already have that are innate to you? And so this gives me that sort of feeling. It's something you have brought from past lives. It's something that is inherently yours. And so it's telling me that you may be reaching this moment where you kind of have to figure out what path you're taking. You reach a crossroads. There's no real wrong path, but which one is more aligned for your unique purpose? So, nice message for you, Virgo. And for those of you watching, you may certainly claim that message as yours as well. Do keep in mind this is a general reading, not a private reading, so it may not resonate for everyone. Take what speaks to you, leave the rest. Energies can come through reversed, so this whole reading could be speaking to the cross-watcher. That happens. We're walking into the reading with some maybe trepidation, a little fear. What's crossing us? Oh, wow. So perfect that we get that oracle, because if we're, it's almost like when we've got more fear and insecurities about the unknown, or the not sure what we're supposed to do or what we're dealing with, and it sort of makes it more challenging to listen to our intuition. And the moon can represent our intuition because it's also our memories. So it's interesting that in tarot, the moon card is associated with the sign of Pisces, which is very intuitive, okay? But also responds to latent fears and apprehensions, yada, yada, yada. In tarot, also, the High Priestess is associated with the moon, and the moon rules the sign of Cancer. So we actually have two moon-related themes going on here, and both speak to fears and apprehensions and intuition, and using our memory, and using our emotions as navigation tools to help us operate from intuition instead of from fear. So I kind of like this for us. here. But we are challenged with regard to our intuition for sure. In the root of the problem, Ace of Pentacles, right? So the Ace of Pentacles is a big offer, a new beginning, an up-leveling. And in the past here, the Magician is Mercury, and it is also about manifestation and a sense of mastery, top of mind, Queen of Cups. So this is something that you're really having an emotional response to. Let's see, in the near future, Two of Cups. Of course, you would have an emotional response because it is about you and your beloved. And the message from Spirit, something very clarifying may be coming in, an offer of clarity, an offer of truth, maybe something that clears up something that you don't have enough information, and so you're kind of, moving in the dark here. And I don't know about you, but I don't like fun houses. I'm not that girl. Do not blindfold me. Do not drop me off at the fun house. I don't find it fun. So I'm getting the impression that Spirit's trying to say, hold on here. There's some clarity coming in that might help get you out of that funhouse experience where you're like, I don't know what lies beyond the veil here, and it's scary, and it's giving me a lot of worry. And if that happens, what we do is we kind of get very tightened up, and we get very focused on anticipating the worst instead of loosening up and using our emotions. And that's very much an embodied experience sometimes, and our intuition to say, wait a minute, I don't have the evidence that something bad's going to happen. So, my intuition isn't, I don't have alarm bells going off. And just because I can't see something doesn't mean that whatever is on the other side there is something terrible. Okay, so Spirit's almost saying the offer of truth that you need or clarity may be coming toward you. In the hidden energy for your person, we have the Hanged Man. That's more Pisces energy, which is interesting, but it's Neptune. It's our spiritual guide, that energy of, waiting for some enlightenment. So it's a temporary standstill, a temporary pause, as this person is sort of, it's a perspective, right? It's trying to gain some perspective first before taking any action. So there may be a little bit of a standstill here, and then in the near future, boom. I feel like this Emperor, your divine masculine, is preparing here to kind of come in with some clarity, with some explanation, or a truth of some kind that helps tamp down the fears, tamp down the unknown of it all, and back up any intuitive hits you may be having. And that's why Spirit's trying to say, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. So that's what I have so far. Let's jump in and get some clarification on that. The Moon crossed by the High Priestess. Four of Wands. Two of Pentacles. Six of Swords. So this is definitely something that feel this is a very sacred connection. And you don't know where you stand. You don't know where you stand with this person. I feel like a lot of it was just kind of left hanging. Literally. And you've been trying to operate from intuition, but nothing's coming through. You know, you're trying to fine tune that intuition radio and all you're getting is static. And so what's leading the way now is a lot of, well, if I go back and, you know, I'm operating from memory, or if I'm operating from what I know, and all that I'm getting is anxious and fear-based and uncertainty, right? It's worrisome, it's anxiety-provoking. So, you know, your reflection, think of the moon, your reflection upon that which you do know is anxiety-provoking. So that's why it's difficult for you to kind of operate from intuition. And so, you know, you're in this sort of Two of Pentacles juggling pattern. You really want to get beyond it. Six of Swords would sort of liberate you, free you, give you some peace of mind, help you get to the other side of it all, to something calmer, more serene. But this is a relationship or a connection that has meant a lot to you, and that might have been at the beginning stage of something that could have evolved into something more long term. And so you don't know where you stand. Let's see the Ace of Pentacles, because that would be the offer that would certainly let you know where you stand. Fool, the Nine of Wands, and the Sun. Yeah. It's been a struggle. I think if this offer came in, you would jump at it. You would take the leap. Right now, it's just this sort of continued, stressful, exhausting saga. It feels like a saga coming through here. And yet, you know, you haven't cast it aside, because on some level, this is a person that makes you happy. The thought of a potential connection here that could go on to evolve and become something more makes you very happy. It's almost like the payoff, it would be worth it. But this is in the root of the problem, is that it's really dogging you. It's just, if you got that offer, you'd jump. I feel you'd be like, yep, I'm ready. Let's do this. And because you know you could be happy, but you don't know where you stand. And so there are a lot of insecurities surrounding it at this time, and you kind of can't get past that. You're in this perpetual, up, down, up, down. I don't know what I'm really dealing with kind of a phase. In the past, we have the Magician, Seven of Cups, Page of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. So even looking in the past, I feel this is where things sort of got a little derailed. Mixed messages coming from someone that you expected to be more someone you could rely on, a little more dependable. This would be the masculine archetype of a life partner in that King of Pentacles, but what you were getting was more like little breadcrumbed, little offerings here and there, more page instead of king, and the messages might have been confusing, not very, couldn't pin him down. And so imagine that Magician not feeling very masterful. So, the Magician can often feel like a bit of a trickster at times. Okay? So, am I being tricked? Is this a game? And it just feels like I'm walking into the reading at that point in the past, could be recent, could be long ago, where things started getting a little confused, and where you start thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't feel exactly right. Now I'm confused. Now I don't know where I stand. So the Queen of Cups, top of mind. King of Wands. There's Leo energy. There's the Magician again, and the Three of Cups. Ooh, my. Very interesting. Three of Cups can be a cause for celebration, reconciliation, manifesting a reconciliation with love and passion. Okay? So your open heart and their desire. King of Wands, knowing what they want, not hesitating. So it's kind of what's top of mind for you. I'm open to receiving that. They're open to claiming it. That's what I'm manifesting, a coming together, a cause for celebration, a reconciliation, boom. So that's great, because if that's really what's top of mind, that means that that's going back to that alignment, right? That's the path you're choosing now, of being open-hearted and being emotionally ready and available for that, and that what you're calling in by way of manifestation is this person to also be desirous of you and this connection, and without hesitation. And that would lead to something that could sort of bridge the gap here. Let's see what we get with the Two of Cups in the near future. Seven of Pentacles, Hermit, Ace of Wands. So what's been sort of off the grid for a while, all this time you've had maybe apart, focusing on yourself, maybe they've been unapproachable or reclusive. You know, we get this Ace of Wands. The cards from the bottom of the deck are what you can't see. So this is like Spirit offering, like saying, all right, it's go time. You've learned a lot. You've spent time focusing on your own personal growth, your own self-awareness, time for some introspection. And maybe that time has been well spent, and the time is now to reignite the torch of passion. So it's very possible that the time you've spent apart is coming to an end, because we also have the Knight of Swords. So let's see what Spirit's saying to you with the Knight of Swords. King of Swords, Temperance, and the Moon. Okay. I feel like this person is as skittish as you are, is also operating from some measure of fear or insecurity or apprehension. The good news is if you are patient, and I know that you're probably thinking, what? What? I've been patient. Seven of Pentacles, Laura. Like, this has been going on for a while, for a hot minute. And how long do I have to be patient? Temperance is a different kind of patience, because it's the spiritual wisdom of knowing that, you know, all the energies are going to come into flow and balance. So, you know, you can stomp your feet and say, I've waited long enough. Well, fine, then go do you. But what Spirit's trying to tell you is this person coming in to do the right thing, to, you know, the King of Swords in his upright, operates from a cause higher than themselves, honor, integrity, honesty, landing on the Knight of Swords, bringing in the truth, bringing in the clarity, bringing in whatever it is that's missing for you that you don't know, where you're sitting there trying to, you know, operate from your own intuition, and you can't, because you're like, I don't know what's going on here. Now you've got fears, and you've got reservations, and you've got apprehensions. Well, so do they. Okay, so, but it's on its way. Is, you know, the knights make offers, and it's coming from a King of Swords wanting to do the right thing, wanting to, you know, deliver to you something that will be helpful. So you know where you stand. And so Temperance is that energy that says, come from some self-control and restraint, and let it unfold the way it's meant to unfold. Keep your powder dry, as I like to say when I see the Temperance card. 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in your feelings, and that's where you're going to get the most balance. You might be a little apprehensive and anxious and worried and fearful, and so is this person. So it's mirrored energy, meaning, you both have reason. You would, if you didn't feel that way, then that would be a sign that neither of you cared. Correct? Correct. So now let's see this person in the hidden energy. We've got the Hanged Man. Hanged Man being Neptune. Four of Cups. Wheel of Fortune. 2 of Cups. So with the Hanged Man, we have a temporary standstill as this person tries to kind of evaluate the situation and kind of look at it from fresh eyes and from your perspective, to see your disappointment, to see your disillusionment. They may also be looking at it from the perspective of, if I don't do something quick, fast, in a hurry, I could miss the love of my life. I could miss an opportunity here. In comes the Wheel of Fortune, right? That's sort of talking about destiny, fate. And also, it's a timing reference. It talks about divine time. It talks about that there's a bigger plan. So this person sort of staying in a holding pattern for too long means they could miss out. They're miserable without you. So, get a grip and let the cosmos, let the universe guide you, because if you're destined to be together, you're destined to be together. In other words, don't rage against the machine. Yes, you can evaluate it from a safe vantage point, but that gives you an unfair advantage, because you, who is watching, you're right in the guts of it all. This person kind of staying out of the fray is getting an unfair advantage. So I feel in the hidden energy, this person is sensing that time's up, that divine time is now. And they have about as much perspective as they're going to gain, and they're as miserable as they're going to be. And if they don't kind of come down off the post and get things right, they're going to lose. So that's why Spirit's saying, keep your powder dry, hold on, because something is coming in that will offer you some clarity and will offer you some honesty, and will offer you something that you don't have right now that's got you a little rattled, and they're rattled too. So let's take a look at the outcome position. I like to see it as, how might things unfold going forward, right? Because I don't do definitive for a collective reading. I don't really even do it for private readings, because one thing we have to consider is free will. So I'm doing one part of this reading, and you can say, well, if I want this kind of an outcome, I have to do X, Y, or Z. But we always have to take into consideration the other person, and that they have options too. A plethora of them. So I like to say what might unfold going forward. Queen of Swords, she's been coming out a lot lately. 5 of Wands and the 3 of Pentacles. It's good. I feel like you'll see through any potential tension here. I do feel this is an Emperor, a divine masculine. Any kind of tension, any kind of drama, disagreement, not really disagreement. What do I want to say? I almost feel like the Five of Wands is from the past. It's not a present issue, but it is going to have to come up. So in other words, Queen of Swords is the King of Swords match. He's going to meet his match. And so when we have an Emperor who is the highest and best of all four kings, and we kind of have to raise the issue to clarify something, to bring clarity to a situation, to clear up a misunderstanding, to deliver some truths that sort of help you know where you stand, okay, or where things went awry. I feel the Queen of Swords' job is to call bullshit. When something comes up and around the tension from the past, to keep things on the level. She's Libra energy. So she's going to be the one that says, whoa, 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 whoa. No, I'm coming in peace, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it real here. So that, in essence, the two of you stay on the same page. So we don't get revisionist history. So that we get the clarity and we know what the facts are. Give me just the facts, ma'am. And that's what I see kind of happening down the road, is the clarity comes in, but that Queen of Swords within you is non-emotional, is just real pragmatic, real solutions oriented, but also facts driven, and keeps things on the straight and narrow and avoids revisionist history, right? Because we're going to have to revisit whatever happened here that I'm not seeing, because I'm kind of walking in after that fact. So it'll be interesting. I do feel some of you may get closure that you need, and others of you may get to clear the air, and others of you may pick up where you left off and get to move forward in your connections. It all depends on how you approach each other. And I give you one clue. Mercury doesn't go direct again until August 11th. So if you can kind of negotiate the calendar a little bit, that might be helpful, because you're not going to want to go up against all the confusion that can come with trying to communicate during a Mercury retrograde, especially in a fire sign. So that's what I have for this part of the reading. I will do the extended. Let's basically say the Emperor's point of view, how they're processing this connection, what they're seeing right now since they've got that Hanged Man, what is it they're observing, and also how they feel about you, or what they're thinking about you right now, and their intentions toward you. So we'll do that. The links are below. Before I give you the astrology, if you enjoy my reading style, and you get something out of it and you haven't yet done so, please do subscribe below. That is my request as always. Thank you so much, Virgo. Love you so much. Okay, here we go. So as I said, the moon in tarot is Pisces. The High Priestess is associated with the moon, and the moon rules Cancer. I know, crazy that those two came out together. We have the Fool is the planet Uranus, which rules Aquarius. The Sun is Leo. The Magician is Mercury. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. We have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn in the Page of Pentacles. Taurus in the King of Pentacles. Queen of Cups is Cancerian energy. King of Wands is Leo. Magician is out a second time, so Mercury, Virgo, and Gemini. Hermit is Virgo. Knight of Swords is Gemini. King of Swords is Aquarius. Temperance is Sagittarius. That moon came out 2 times, so that's Pisces. Hanged Man is Neptune, which rules Pisces. Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius. Emperor is Aries. Queen of Swords is Libra. And your beautiful oracle is the Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. That's what I have for you. Links to the extended are below. There are a couple different options for how to access the extended, so be sure you read the description, and I'll see you there in a second. Bye for now.